Hello and welcome to race 7 of the Sim Cup season. I'm Michael Taylor, owner of the 26 and 19 Sim Cup cars, and I'm here to bring you the Visit Pocono 375. So let's see how they started. Today, Patrick Cobb was on pole with Drew Tabulov on the outside. Teammates Matt Sedici and Michael Adkins started in row 2 with Jim Powers and Dylan Fisher in row 3. Brennan Irons and Ricky Brackett in row 4, and Tim Bowen and Scott Unger rounding out the top 10. Row 6, rookie Daniel Alderson and Joey Wakowiak. Last week's winner, Anthony Wick and Jason Severn. Tommy Morello and Reed Conway in row 8. Zach Doreen and Carson Fitzpatrick in row 9. And row 10, Carl Flint and Davis McAfee. So that means two cars started in row 11, and they are runner-up to last year's point standings, Matthew Sparrows, and current point standings leader, Kevin Richmond. This race was shortened to 150 laps because 160 laps at Pocono just seems awful. It was 73 degrees and clear, and winds were northwest going 1 mile an hour. So, without further ado, let's get to the action. Lap 1 with an awesome shot. Patrick Cobb Jr. takes the field down into turn 1, but Drew Tabulov inched ahead and would gain control of the lead. You can see on lap 4 that he's leading the cars. Matt Sedici moved up to second with Dylan Fisher following right behind him. Cobb's day just started getting worse immediately because on lap 5 he spun and hit the wall. Damage to the 71 car, and he had to pit to repair, and that put him pretty much out of contention. So he was running 2 laps down most of the day. Lap 12, the first retirement, last week's winner, Anthony Wick, has an electrical problem. Just an awful start to Taylor Motorsports season. This is the third DNF for Anthony Wick in 7 races. And Dylan Fisher has just as many, so not a good start on the day for Taylor Motorsports. The first caution came out on lap 16. Tommy Morello bounced it off turn 2's wall, and he had enough damage to force a retirement. He was all alone and just backed it into the wall. This brought out a caution, and everyone pitted, except Dylan Fisher. Dylan Fisher started on a different strategy than everyone by not pitting on lap 16, so he would go the normal plan or the predetermined plan of about 30 or 40 laps on green flag. On gas. So a little bit of strategy coming in for a desperate driver. Lap 20, you can see Dylan Fisher leading Drew Tabulov. But Drew Tabulov soon would take the lead from him. Lap 37, you can see Dylan Fisher slowing everyone down. He did not have a great car on the day, but you know who did? Drew Tabulov. Drew Tabulov at this point was about 10 seconds ahead of the 13 car running in second, and then a couple seconds back to Dylan Fisher, who was holding up the field. Lap 41, Dylan Fisher goes into pit. You can see Wick already in there due to retirement, and all the cars flying by under green. So Dylan Fisher would immediately go a lap down just because a one pit stop costs about a lap on the track. Lap 55 is when everyone came into pit. A big group of cars came into pit in this particular lap, and it cycled through. And Drew Tabulov would remain the leader, as you can see on lap 61. You might be asking where points leader is. He started last, and it did not get any better on lap 68. He's running an 18th, slowed by the 0, 61, and 50 cars. Lap 74, Dylan Fisher, he holds up another group of cars. He's running third, but 24 seconds behind the 2 car. The cars had a chance to pass him when he ducked into the pits on lap 77. Lap 78, though, our points leader, Kevin Richmond, continues his bad run of 2 races as he backs it into the wall. This ended his day, ended his chance of any sort of building upon his lead. Uh, his teammate was also two laps down, so Dumas Racing had a good start to the day, but not a good finish. Lap 93, pit stops for the rest of the cars came in, or started rather. Michael Adkins came in, and you could see the back of the lead lap cars. Alderson, Dorian, and Flint all running on the front stretch. With 48 laps to go, the 25 car Joey Wakowiak was hunting down the 2 car. Patrick Cobb Jr. and Carl Flint were giving the 2 car a hard time as the 25 made up a bunch of ground after the green flag pit stops. And 6 laps later, our leader Drew Tabulov backs it into the wall and crashes. He goes a lap down due to repairs, and his day was ultimately done. So the 25 car would now take the lead and lead a couple laps. The 19 car tries to play a strategy with 34 laps to go. He pits, and he is good on fuel at this point. But his strategy had a flaw. He could be stuck a lap down if there was a caution, and guess what? There was. The 4 car took out the 6 car, and they both backed it into the back wall. This brought out a caution, which Fisher and all the whole team just really didn't want to see. So the pace car came out. Other cars came into pit because it was around their pit window, and the 5 of Ricky Brackett, he took the lead from Joey Wakowiak in the pits. So under green, Ricky Brackett started to pull away. You could see he had a 2-second lead with 7 to go. And then on the last lap, Ricky Brackett comes down and wins his first Sim Cup race. He ended up winning by 4 seconds, and you could hardly even see Wakowiak in the background. So Brackett gets it done. It's a big win because he was creeping up in points, and this will go a long way into determining his future and his season. So yeah, let's get to the race results. Ricky Brackett, he wins his first race with Joey Wakowiak just behind him. Teammate Matthew Barros finishes 7.6 seconds behind. Good run for North Star Motorsports. Jim Powers, he finishes 4th with teammates Davis McAfee and Brennan Irons behind him. And Powers' teammate finishes 7th. Carson Fitzpatrick with 18 seconds behind the leader in 8th. Burmese Brothers Racing duo Reed Conway and Daniel Alderson finished 9th and 10th, with Carl Flint running in 11th. Tim Bowen finished 19.2 seconds behind, with Jack Dorian finishing right behind him. Michael Adkins 22.5 and Scott Unger 22.8 seconds behind. Unger had damage, so he slowed down a few cars on the restart, but there was no one behind him, so he really didn't have to worry about losing position. Best car a lap down, Dylan Fisher. He just timed it wrong. If he would have came down and pitted with everyone else, I'm sure he would have had a top 5 day because he was up there every time the pit stop cycled through. Matt Sedici, he had damage. Drew Tabulov, he also had damage. Both finish a lap down. Dumas Racing finished 2 laps down with Kevin Richmond and Patrick Cobb Jr. And Tommy Morello and Anthony Wick were your 2 retirements. Kevin Richmond still has a commanding lead of the point standings, but it's shrinking. It's shrunk by half in the last 2 races. Davis McAfee now up to 2nd with 75 points behind the 17 car. Rookie Daniel Alderson continues to impress with another top 10. He's 81 points behind. Ricky Brackett gets a win with 92 points back. Then Joey Wakowiak, Jim Powers, Carl Flint, Zach Dorian, Michael Adkins, and rounding out the top 10 is Scott Unger, 160 points behind. Matthew Barros finally turning things around. He's 162 points behind. 12th place, Anthony Wick, 173 points behind. Then Severn, Carson Fitzpatrick, Florida 500 winner Drew Tabulov. Or is it 400? It's 400. Florida 400. Sorry about that. Patrick Cobb Jr., he's 227 points back. Matt Sedici, Brandon Irons, rookie Reed Conway, 238 points back. Tommy Morello, Tim Bowen, and Dylan Fisher. Uh, yeah, Dylan Fisher, he just hardly gained any ground on the leader. That's the only positive you can take from this. Taylor Motorsports did gain ground on Dumas Racing in the team standings and the driver standings, despite everyone else gaining a lot more ground on Dumas in both standings. Then team standings, Dumas Racing, they still have a little bit of a lead, but North Star Racing is cutting it close. They're 27 points back. Big stuff. KMI, Fletcher Autosports round out the top 5. Burmese Brothers, they're running good. They finished another top 10 finish for both guys. They're 92 points back. Irish Lads, Creechin, Revolution. Then Team Harden, they fall back to 10th with Taylor Motorsports 41 points behind them. So that's it for me. Where to find us, at mock_sports at Twitter, or you can find us on Facebook and YouTube. Everything Sim Cup can be found on simcupseries.blogspot.com. I'm going to try to get more races out. It really just depends on when I can get help recording the races. But I'm going back up to school in a few weeks, so I'll have Brent from Team Harden to help me, and we will be back on a regular weekly schedule. Next week, the first night race of the season, the series goes to Gateway for the weird egg-shaped track. This is the first race they're going to go to Gateway, so it should be pretty exciting. Yeah, that's it. From me, I'm Michael Taylor, and I hope you enjoyed and will come back every week. All right, thank you.